What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Brandon, and today, by popular request, we're going to be talking about a February or end of February. I guess technically it's March now, but a motherboard buying guide for mining. And what I mean by that is there's plenty of motherboards that are designed for mining, but everything is either sold out or grossly overinflated. Now, there are options to put multiple 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 graphics cards on gaming motherboards, and they're kind of flying underneath the radar. So I figured if I make this guide, show you guys what I'm talking about, and I can help you out in a broader range, because I've basically regurgitated this information probably 5, 6, 7, 10 times to people, and they're just like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I could do it with this motherboard or with this CPU. So I figured, you know what, if there's that many people just coming to me that casually, then it's got to be a common topic. So let's switch on over here. There we are. All right. So what I mean by like the issue is the H110 Pro BTC is one of my highly recommended, like definitely a great buy, right? But the problem is these are H81s. This is the generation before that. But to get an H110, you're gonna spend over $300 right now. $400. That's ridiculous. That makes your ROI time like even farther out. So $400, $300, no. Even for $200, it's a hard sell. These boards used to be like $100, but yeah. So my recommendations here. Oh, by the way, H110s are $600 on Amazon. But my recommendation that I've actually sent out to a bunch of people and they've bought them, and they're actually Amazon Prime, so you can get them fairly fast if you have an Amazon Prime account, is the MSI Z390A Pro. If you look at this motherboard, it's got 6 PCI Express slots. 2 of them are full size. So if you don't have risers or you're waiting on risers to come in, you could actually run 2 graphics cards directly on the motherboard. And then when you're ready, you can take those graphics cards out and put risers in all those slots. And a lot of people did not know those PCI Express, the 1 times risers, can go in the 6 times slot. You just put it in the front side of the 6 times slot and leave the back half open. And that's how this motherboard would have 6 slots, so you could run 6 cards off that. And actually, this motherboard, looking through all the forums and stuff, and also in the BIOS, it can support up to 7 graphics cards if you get an M.2 adapter. Some people are having issues getting the M.2 to PCI Express adapter to work, so I would recommend this motherboard for a 6 GPU build out. $129, Amazon Prime. It's actually a very nice chipset. It's a Z390, 4 RAM slots. This is a nice motherboard. After you're done mining, or if you wanted to potentially build out a gaming rig, this would be a much better option to convert over into a gaming rig, or even to resell in a gaming market than a H110, because this is more of a gaming style setup. Now, another backup motherboard in case this one is sold out, this one's $129, is the MSI MPG Z390. This one's a couple dollars more. It's a little fancier, it's dressed up, it's got a couple more features that really for mining don't make any difference. But the big thing is it's got 6 PCI Express slots. It does support up to 7 if you get the M.2 adapter, but I'm not going to recommend that because a lot of people are having issues on that. So a 6 GPU build out, it's a Z390 setup or platform, so that means both of these motherboards support 8th or 9th gen Intel. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, so what processor, what CPU do you recommend? Normally, if you want to get into it as cheap as possible, you would get a Celeron or a Pentium. But with miners buying up Celerons and Pentiums like they're going out of style, realistically, you can jump over to the i3 9100s, and they're about, $30 or $40 more. Pentiums and Celerons are going for $100 to $120, which they're dual cores, and you could get double the CPU here for just, $10 or $20 more. So $140 gets you a 4-core 9th gen i3. Or if you go over on eBay, right at $115 will get you the 8th gen 4-core i3. And when I mean double the processing power, it is literally double the processing power of these Celerons and the dual core Pentium. So big jump up. You could actually use this computer instead of it just being a dedicated mining rig. Sorry about that. I had a little phone call. Anyway, yeah, so 9100 and 8100 are my recommendations for a cheap entry level, but also still usable CPU. So, like, say if you're all said and done and you're done with mining, you sell off all your graphics cards, you keep one graphics card, you keep that 81 or 9100 in there, you can actually game on those CPUs. Of course, you're not going to be doing cutting edge 4K, but yeah, it's still a good backup CPU, and it's not going to get like overloaded just trying to download Chrome and do some silly stuff. So those are the two recommendations. Now my backup motherboard is the Asus Z390 Prime, and the only reason I say this is my backup, as you can see, I've purchased one of these motherboards in the past. This motherboard has 6 PCI Express slots, but I could only ever get it to run 5. It has above 4G encoding or decoding or whatever it's called, but for some reason a 6th graphics card would not load on this motherboard, and that is me from personal experience. I swapped around risers, I swapped around graphics cards, I couldn't get it to run more than 5. But for 120 bucks and having a Z390 platform, this is also an 8th or 9th gen Intel, so either of those 8100 or 9100 processors would work. Yeah, it's an awesome board for like doing a gaming setup and a little bit of mining, because you could put 2 full-size cards on that and actually fit them inside a case because they're spaced out pretty decent. So there are some options for people definitely to get into mining without having to buy a mining motherboard and a mining CPU and a mining case. I'm waiting on it to come in, but I'm going to show you guys how you can do a case or a rack to hold your mining setup and not actually kill your budget. Because right now, like a mining frame, oh my gosh, let's look at these. Let's see here. Mining frame. Aveda frames are the ones I normally recommend. $190. Veda frame, $179.99. These ones that are cut out of like little stamped steel, I don't recommend those. They get all bent up. They're nasty. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. They're actually not spaced out enough, in my opinion. I have no experience with these, but Vedas are my favorite. They're made out of like extruded, it's not tubing, but it feels like tubing. Really strong, and you can actually stack them because they lock into each other. But $190, $180 is absurd for these things. They were selling for 50 and 60 bucks, 8, 9, 10 months ago. And at the bottom of mining, these things were going for $19.99. So just take that with a grain of salt. There are a lot of other cheaper ways. It doesn't matter how good it looks as long as you're hashing. Just remember that, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people get caught up on looks, but Mega Hash doesn't care about looks 100%. As long as it's safe and it's running cool and it's secure, that's all that matters. So yeah, this is pretty much the end of the this month. I guess I'll call it March's. This is 2021 March motherboard buyer's guide, because if the market stays up, these motherboards are going to sell out. I basically guarantee it. If they haven't got any exposure in the past, they have some now, so I don't see them. Gosh, sorry about my notifications. I don't see them lasting, so we'll have to find another alternative here in the future. And that's just the way it goes. When mining's hot, everything gets bought up. Yeah, I mean, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. So what else was I thinking about? I think that was it. Yeah. So all these links will be down below. Well, this one won't be down below in the description because I'm not recommending a $600 motherboard to you guys. But all these links will be down below in the description, and they are Amazon affiliate links. So if you click on them, it helps me out, and it doesn't cost you anything. So that's much appreciated. And I'll include 9100. You know what? Let's look up another alternative. Say if you wanted a little bit more pep in your step on the CPU. The 9400 i5s are actually an awesome processor. Look at this. Oh man, this actually might be a better recommendation, like all the way across. $141. It's not Prime, but you get free delivery March 5th through 10th, so that's not a long delivery count, or not a long delivery time. This is a 6-core processor. It doesn't have hyper-threading, so it's only 6 cores, 6 threads, but 6 cores coming from 4 cores, that's a big upswing in performance, and for less money. Wow. Okay. So down below in the description, there's going to be a section for motherboards, and then underneath that, there's going to be a section for processors. I'm going to put this 9400F at the top. The only thing you guys got to realize is the F on the end of it means that it has no integrated graphics. So you'll have to run, if you're going to run a screen off of the mining rig, you're going to have to run the screen off of one of the actual graphics cards. A 91 or 9400 with graphics, the non-F model, is another $30. Yeah, don't recommend it at that price. But man, this one right here, this is actually cheap. And I've been on a system and I've built a system with these 9400 very competent little CPUs. You can play games on them. You can do some light editing. Definitely can run a mining rig. Actually, you can mine on this little 9400 and pull, I think it's like 1.5 or almost 2 kilohash on Monero, which in today's market, that might be 25 cents a day. So this little CPU give you back a quarter a day. Ain't no Celeron doing that. But all right, guys, I'm not gonna mean to hold you up any longer. I was meaning to keep this video at 5 minutes. Looks like we're at 6 minutes. Sorry about that. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. Adios.